Hello to everyone. I'm Dr. Bashir as a senior mechanical and material expert at Woody Course. In today's webinar uh, on the topic ethics of material behavior, we will we will explore the environmental and social consideration that comes with every material selection and how this choice can influence the sustainability and safety. So, have you ever wondered how the right material choice that can make a world of difference in your project? Traditionally, ethics have focused on human actions and their consequences. But what if the materials we use have a hidden influence? All right, let's take a look at the key points covering today's topic. Here is the agenda. So during this webinar, we will look at the material behavior and ethics, sustainable development and environmental ethics of materials, ethical consideration in the supply chain, material safety and worker well-being. Finally, the future of ethical materials. Today, today at the end, I'll share you the details about what services we can offer in this area. So imagine you are building a bridge. To ensure its safety and endurance, you wouldn't just pick any random material. Rather, you would consider its strength, flexibility, and how it reacts to stress and temperature changes. This knowledge of material behavior is the essential first step in exploring the fascinating world of material ethics. So material behavior refers to the way a material responds to various external stimuli such as stress, strain, temperature, and time. So stress is nothing but this is the internal force acting on a unit area within a material. It can be caused by tension, compression, shear, or even by bending. Strain is the end result, where deformation or change in the shape or size of the material happens due to its applied stress. Change in temperature can significantly impact a material's property and its behavior. Materials may expand or contract, or it become more or less brittle, or even can undergo phase changes. Even the duration or time period of applied stress can influence a material's behavior. If we vary the load duration, some material exhibits elastic behavior, returning to their original shape after stress is removed. Other exhibits plastic deformation, showing a permanent deformation after stress is removed. So by understanding these properties and how material respond to various stimuli, engineers can develop new materials and design applications that function reliably and safely. This knowledge of material behavior lays the foundation for exploring the ethics of material behavior, which examines the ethical implications of materials property, its use, and impact throughout its life cycle. As I mentioned before, traditionally, ethics focused on human actions and choices. But materials ethics broadens the scope, recognizing that the properties and application of the materials, which can even influence human behavior and have ethical consequences. Material ethics considering the material life cycle. Material ethics examines the ethical implication throughout a material's entire life cycle, from its extraction till the end of life. Resource extraction have concerns of environmental impact like pollution, resource depletion, etc. And social impact like labor practices, worker safety, etc. Processing and manufacturing focuses in on minimizing environmental damage and ensure responsible waste management. Use and application is an ethical consideration which include the potential for a material to bias outcomes or its impact on human health and safety. End of life is the stage focus on minimizing waste throughout recycling or responsible disposal practices. So, as I mentioned before, traditionally ethics focused on human actions and choice, but material ethics broadens the scope, recognizing that the property and application of materials which can influence human behavior and have ethical consequences. So the concept of material ethics goes beyond simply using responsibly materials responsibly. It is a framework for examining the ethical implications of material throughout its entire life cycle from its extraction to disposal. So why material ethics? In a world increasingly reliant on technology and innovation, the materials we use have a profound impact that goes beyond their functionality. So, here is why material ethics is becoming a crucial field of consideration. Material ethics encourage us to consider the entire life cycle of a material from its extraction to disposal. This ensure we don't ignore the ethical issues at any stages. Material ethics promotes practice that minimize resource depletion, pollution, and waste generation. This paves the way for a more sustainable future where we meet our material needs without compromising the environment. So, by understanding the ethical implication of the existing materials, we can be inspired to develop new materials with lower environmental impact and more responsible production process. Material ethics also can empower consumers to make informed choices. So there are three ethical framework terminologies. So the first one is consequentialism. Maximizing overall well-being is the goal, considering the long-term social and environmental impact of the material choice, which aligns with this framework. The next is deontology, focuses on fulfilling one's duty, adhering to ethical principles. This could involve prioritizing labor practice throughout their material supply chain. And the last one is environmental ethics, which recognizes the inherent value of nature and promotes responsible resource management. Choosing materials with minimal environmental impact align with this framework. So I have a poll question for you. So the question is, should manufacturers be required to design product with easier disassembly and material reuse in mind? So please take a moment to answer it. So looks like most of people have their own answers. So the answer is yes. This would encourage more circular economy and reduce waste. Let's explore the concept of moral status of the material. So, the concept of moral status of material is a relatively new and evolving area of ethical decisions. In short, the moral status of material refers to the to whether materials themselves deserves the ethical consideration. Even if material themselves lack interest, the way we use and dispose of them can have significant impact on the environment. In this sense, the ethical implication of material choice become important. Here are some arguments for considering the moral status of the material. Some argue that certain materials like natural resources or cultural artifacts might have intrinsic value beyond their utility to humans. Even if material lack intrinsic value, they can have a significant impact on the environment. As you know, our relationship with material is complex. They shape our culture, technology, and even our bodies. This interconnectedness suggests a new or a need for a more refined ethical consideration. Let's take a moment to consider the potential implication of assigning moral status to materials. Even the concept of moral status of materials is still under debate. It opens door to fascinating ethical consideration. Here I can give you some potential implication of material moral status regarding environmental ethics. If materials have a moral status, it could strengthen arguments for sustainable resource management and reducing pollution. So if it is regards to animal welfare, it could raise new questions in areas like animal agriculture and research. The materials used in these practices, from animal feed container to research equipment, could be a subject to a new ethical scrutiny. We might have to consider not just the well-being of the animal themselves, but also the potential impact on the materials involved. So, if it is regarding emerging technologies, the development of advanced materials like self-healing structures or biomimetic materials could require a new ethical frameworks works. If these materials exhibits a level of complexity or functionality that blurs the moral status, then we might need to establish new guidelines for their creation and use. In essence, the concept of moral status of materials force us to reevaluate our relationship with the material world. It pushes us to consider the ethical implication of our choice, not just for environment and other living being, but potentially for the materials themselves. Now let's look into sustainable material development. So sustainable materials development is a critical approach to create and use materials with minimal environment and social impact throughout their entire life. It goes beyond simply finding eco-friendly material and encompasses a holistic strategy for responsible material use. The goal is to minimize the negative impact on the environment and society throughout the materials life cycle. By embarking a sustainable material development, we can ensure a future where our material needs are met responsibly with minimal impact on the environment and society. So, how could we achieve a better sustainability? The first one is responsible sourcing. This refers to ethical and transparent practice throughout a material supply chain. It ensures minimal environmental impact, during materials extraction and production. Some aspects of responsible sourcing are like ethical sourcing, transparency, respect for workers, etc. The second is life cycle assessment. This is a comprehensive analysis that evaluates the environmental, social, and economical impacts of a material throughout its entire life cycle. It considers all stages from raw material extraction, processing, and manufacturing, product use, end of life, even considering waste generation and its disposal method. So by conducting an LCA, companies can identify area for improvement and make informed choice about material selections. So this promote reduced environmental impact, improved resource efficiency, social reliability, etc. The third is design for sustainability. This involves prioritizing renewable, recyclable, and low carbon footprint materials. It also incorporates circular design principle to extend the lifespan of the product and material. So as we have discussed, sustainable material development focus on creating and using materials with a minimal environmental and social impact. Here are some key principles for sustainable material development. They are reduce, reuse, recycle, renew, biomimicry, and LCA. So reduce implies to minimize the amount of material used in a product or a process. This could involve lightweight design, multifunctionality, and optimizing material use. Reuse points to design product or products for easy disassembly and encourage material reuse in new applications. These extend the lifespan of the material and reduce waste. Recycle, it develops or develop the material that can be efficiently recycled at the end of their lifespan. So this closes the loop of materials life cycle. Renew, which prioritize renewable resources for material production wherever it is possible. This reduces reliance on finite resources and minimize environmental damage. Biomimicry, it draws inspiration from nature to create materials with a superior performance and lower environmental impact. Natural materials often exhibit remarkable properties like self-healing and biodegradability. The last one, life cycle assessment, LCA. It evaluates the environmental and social impact of the material throughout its life cycle, from its extraction till its disposal. So this helps us to identify area for improvement and make informed choices. By adhering to these principles, sustainable material development promotes responsible material choices across different industries. It minimizes our environmental footprints, promotes social responsibilities, and it paves the way for more sustainable or economical future. So there are major benefit. These are the major benefits of sustainable material development. Reduced environmental impact, which can lower resource depletion, reduce pollution from processing and its disposal, and also minimized carbon footprint. The next is improved resource security, reliance on renewable resources, and efficiently recycling practices ensure long-term material availability. The next is economic benefit, which can lower waste disposal cost, potential cost saving from reduced material usage, and opportunities for innovation in sustainable materials. Improved social responsibility, so ethical sourcing practices, fair labor conditions, and reduced health risk associated with the material productions. So advancements in science and technology are constantly opening doors for new, innovative, and more sustainable materials. Research is ongoing in areas like biomimicry, self-healing materials, and closed-loop material systems. So, as awareness and demand for sustainability grows, we can expect continued advancement in these critical fields. Environmental ethics help humans to understand its relationship with nature and makes him understand better about his obligations towards the environment. The environmental ethics of material delve into the impact of the materials on the environment through their entire life cycle. It goes beyond simply using eco-friendly materials and explores the ethical considerations at every stages of material life cycle. Here is a breakdown of key aspects of environmental concerns. Resource depletion, considering the ethical implications of using finite resources like metals and minerals, sustainable alternatives and responsible sourcing practices are very crucial. Then next is pollution, material extraction, processing, and disposal can generate a significant amount of pollution. So minimizing pollution through cleaner technologies and responsible waste management systems are ethical consideration here. Biodiversity laws, certain materials may be linked to habitat destruction or it's a resource extraction that can harm ecosystems. So examining the environmental impact of material choices is very essential for the biodiversity losses. Climate change, the production and use of some materials contribute to greenhouse gas emission. Opting for low carbon footprint materials are promoting energy efficient throughout the life cycle, and it aligns with environmental ethics. The environmental ethics of material encourage us to consider the environmental consequence of our choices. By integrating ethical considerations into every stage of materials life cycle, we can strive for a future where materials needs are met in a way that it protects the environment. So by considering these four ethical pillars, business can create a more responsible and sustainable supply chain. So the first one is transparency, which refers to being open and accountable about the sourcing and production practices throughout its supply chain. These enable ethical oversight and ensure companies are aware of its potential problems. The next is labor rights, which focus on ensuring fair wages, safe working conditions, and protecting workers' rights at every stage of material extraction, fabrication, manufacturing, distribution, and even its disposal. Companies should adhere to ethical labor practices throughout their supply chain. Environmental impact means considering the ecological footprint of material sourcing, processing, and its transportation. Sustainable practices and minimizing environmental harm are the key ethical consideration here. Community engagement involves understanding and addressing the concern of local communities affected by this material extraction, processing, production, or even disposal. This could incorporate their feedback to mitigate social and environmental harm. Incorporating this ethical consideration into supply chain management, it is not only the right thing to do, but it can also lead to benefits like improved brand reputation, reduce risk of disruption, and also it can provide enhanced innovation. Next is material safety and worker well-being. So there are two interconnected aspects of creating a safe and healthy work environment. This focus on protecting workers from the potential hazard associated with material they handle or are exposed to during their work. So the first is the hazard identification, identifying and understanding the potential hazard associated with each material used in the workplace. This includes evaluating physical hazards, chemical hazards, biological hazards, etc. The next is safety data sheet, providing workers with a readily accessible SDS or safety data sheet for all hazardous materials used. So SDS contain information on the material's property, potential hazard, safe handling procedures, and even emergency response protocol. The next is personal protective equipment, ensuring workers have access to and use appropriate PPE, such as glove, respirators, goggles, or protective clothing, depending on their specific hazards. The next is engineering control and regular monitoring, implementing engineering controls wherever or whenever possible to minimize workers' exposure to hazardous materials. This might involve ventilation system, dust suppression system, or contaminant enclosures. So regular monitoring the work environment for airborne contaminants or other potential hazards associated with materials is very important. Implementing these practices minimize the risk of accidents and injuries related to exposure to hazardous material. By prioritizing both material safety and worker well-being, business can create a work environment that protects their employees while maintaining productivity. It's a win-win situation for everyone involved. Next is circular economy and material use. So we have unpacked the ethical consideration and environmental impact of material. Now let's explore how the circular economy offer a powerful framework for putting those principles into action. Circular economy versus linear economy. Traditionally, an economy follows a linear model, that is take, make, and waste. So resources are extracted, used to manufacture product, and then they are discarded as waste. A circular economy aims to break this cycle by emphasizing on terms like reuse, recycle, and remanufacture. The goal is to keep material in use for as long as possible, minimizing waste and environmental impact. There are some key strategies for material reuse. The first one is repurpose and recycle. This involves collecting and processing used materials into a new product. For example, plastic bottles might be recycled into new packaging materials or textile materials. The second is extended product life cycle. Strategies like repair, refurbishment, and remanufacturing aims to prolong the use of existing products. These reduce the need for new material and associated environmental burdens. Third is closed loop system. This refers to creating a circular flow of material within a system. Waste from one process become the input for the other. This minimize reliance on virgin or pure materials. Next is material traceability, tracking the origin and composition of the materials throughout their supply chain, which allows for a more efficient recycling and reuse at the end of product life cycle. By giving materials a second life, we lessen our reliance on virgin or pure resource, and it minimizes pollution caused by extraction or its processing. Reusing materials often requires less energy compared to producing new materials from scratch. Material reuse plays a vital role in closing the loop in the circular economy. The future of ethical materials is brimming with promise, aiming to create a world where the materials we use are not only functional but also responsible and sustainable. Here is a breakdown of some key trends shaping the future. The first is a rise of bio-based materials. Sustainable alternatives to traditional petroleum-based material are derived from renewable resources like plant, fungi, and agricultural waste. So this reduces reliance on finite resources and lower the environmental impact on the material production. So example, yeah, like bioplastic, fabrics, and composites, which are made from bamboo, algae, or even mushrooms. The second is the closed loop recycling, which takes the center stage. Advanced recycling technologies enables the recovery and reuse of the material at its molecular level. This creates a circular economy where materials are continuously cycled back into new products, and it minimizes the wastage. The third is transparency through material traceability, blockchain technology, RFID tags, and other digital tools provide unprecedented transparency into the material supply chain. This allows consumers and business to track the origin and composition of the material, ensuring ethical sourcing and responsible manufacturing. The fourth is the age of smart material. These materials possess a unique properties that can adapt to their environment or respond to external stimuli. Example, in self-healing material that repairs cracks, or kind of shape-shifting material that adjusts to different conditions. The future of ethical materials is not a one man show. It requires collaboration between various stakeholders like researchers and innovators, businesses, policymakers, consumers, etc. By working together, we can create a future where the materials we use are not just innovative but are also ethical and responsible. This journey towards a more sustainable world starts with acknowledging the impact of our material choices and prioritizing ethical consideration throughout the entire life cycle of the material. It's a future where functionality and responsibility go hand in hand, a future built on collaboration for our one and only planet. So at Decos, we understand the importance of responsible material selection for sustainable future. That's why we are committed to provide comprehensive services for your ethical material needs. Decos could offer expertise in helping clients to choose materials that are environmental friendly and ethical secured or sourced. We could provide LCA services to assess the environmental impact of the product or project throughout its entire life, from the material extraction till the disposal. We could offer consulting services to ensure the material used in a project or are safe or for workers and end users. We also can provide design principles that allows products to be easily disassembled and materials reused at the end of their lifespan. We could help clients to understand the potential cost benefits of using ethical materials, and also can show how these costs this can translate to long-term saving through their reduced waste. We also could offer a customizable solution based on the client's specific needs and industrial requirements. So again, there is one thing I need to remind you. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestor. We borrow it from our children. So that's all for today. I hope you like the content delivered, and I was only able to give you a brief insight into ethics of material behavior. We would be happy to help you with any of your product design, development, prototyping, optimization, and troubleshooting. We use cutting edge technologies and tools for our work. Please note, a recorded version of this webinar will be available on our website in a week of time from now. We will also send you an email with the link on your registered email ID to access this webinar. Thank you. Have a great day.